Thank you, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of H.R. 1180, the Working Families Flexibility Act, and encourage all of my colleagues to do the same. This common-sense piece of legislation, sponsored by my friend and colleague from Alabama, Martha Roby, would empower private sector workers with the flexibility to choose comp time as compensation for working overtime hours instead of added wages. Specifically, the provisions of this legislation would be completely voluntary for workers, allow them to exchange their accrued time for full overtime pay at any time or for any reason, and would maintain the protections of the Fair Labor Standards Act, such as the standard 40-hour work week. Now, Mr. Speaker, I've heard our friends on the other side of the aisle express opposition to giving private sector employees this choice. I would point out that the public sector employees have enjoyed the ability to use comp time to maintain a work-life balance for 30 years. We're simply doing the same thing for private sector employees that public sector employees have the right to do today. H.R. 1180 would benefit workers who want more flexibility to decide where they spend the time with their families, or pursue an entrepreneurial or educational ambitions outside the workplace, and these individuals should be admired for their efforts. At its most basic level, this legislation is about choice and the belief that hard-working employees know their needs better than Washington bureaucrats. House Republicans believe it's time to adapt our labor laws to meet the needs of a rapidly changing 21st century workplace, instead of imposing a one-size-fits-all Washington knows best model. It's time to empower employees to make choices on what they will allow them to better balance work with their personal lives. This common-sense legislation will ultimately improve not only their benefits, but their lives. I want to again encourage my colleagues to support H.R. 1180, and with that, I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlemen.